Welcome to day 2 here at SMTA Guadalajara. We've learned a lot this week actually about the Mexican market. Of course, the Tier 1s have been here for 10 to 15 years, and in the last couple of years since post-COVID, we've had a lot of influx of American companies, mid-sized American companies that were doing high-mix manufacturing moving down here, which has changed the dynamic quite a bit. And even more recently, we've had an influx of Taiwanese companies coming in here. And rather interestingly, the Taiwanese companies who were generally using rather cheap Chinese equipment back home are actually buying best-in-class equipment here in Mexico. So that's quite an interesting dynamic. But another interesting facet about this show is the Mexicans really know how to have fun. Here's a few clips that you can take a look at of what's happening on the show floor. But it wasn't all fun and games. We actually spoke to a few of the exhibitors on the show floor, and they gave us their feedback on what they thought of the show here in Guadalajara.
Well, after 3 years of having a new show, it's great to see customers face to face. I was not able to be at the Apex because of COVID, Omicron, so it's great to see customers this time. It's over 1,500 customers so far, which is a very good number, we believe. And it's just great to see customers and be able to talk to our friendly competitors and friends from the industry, exhibitors, etc.
Coming up after the break, we're going to meet the first of our guests this afternoon. That's Mitch De Caire from Cogiscan.
Nordson Electronic Solutions. Everything you need for precision automated fluid dispensing, conformal coating, plasma surface treatment, and selective soldering. Our passion is helping customers take their processes further, faster, with best-in-class technologies, dedicated global sales and support teams, and unmatched applications expertise. From the names you respect, Assemtec Fluid Dispensing and Conformal Coating, March Plasma Treatment, and Select for selective soldering, we offer years of experience in advanced technology solutions for electronics manufacturing. Take your electronics assembly process further, faster.
Welcome everyone, Mike Galbraith here with Promation USA. Technology plays a tremendous role within our daily life. With more electronics throughout the world, manufacturers are looking to stay ahead of the game and deliver powerful, cost-effective technology to their clients that reshapes the traditional way of thinking. Promation is reinventing the way we grow and learn with our production lines. Start your automation journey with us online at www.promationusa.com and see why more manufacturers are choosing Promation for their manufacturing needs over anyone else.
I'm now delighted to be joined by Mitch De Caire from Cogiscan. Great to see you, Mitch. Thanks for joining us.
Always a pleasure, Trevor. Thanks for having me.
So, since the acquisition of Cogiscan by ITAC Software last year, what things have changed? What has ITAC brought to the Cogiscan stable?
Yeah, it's a very exciting time for us here at Cogiscan. We were acquired by ITAC in February 2021. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of things that are very familiar to us because we had partnered with ITAC for more than 10 years at joint customer sites where we were already integrated. Our systems were integrated together. We were capturing traceability data on SMT lines and feeding that to the ITAC MES and responding to requests from the MES when we need to interlock operations on the lines to ensure that mistakes are prevented and things like that. So we've been doing that for some major clients around the globe for many years, and so they were a great partner before, and they knew us well, and acquired us so that we can continue these synergistic activities, which is great. And for Cogiscan, from my perspective, it's really exciting because I feel like a bit of a kid in a candy store, as I mentioned to you before. We have all the ITAC products now that are on our portfolio, and we're selling these products. Specifically, we're focusing right now in the Americas market on promoting ITAC from a sales and business development perspective, which is one of my new responsibilities.
Right. That's an interesting area. So looking at the ITAC software portfolio is actually fairly modular, so people don't have to take the entire MES system. They can take components that they can then fold into their existing MES system.
Yeah, that's correct, and that's something that was kind of a fun surprise for me to learn as we were getting more involved in becoming part of the ITAC suite. I was pleasantly surprised at the level of modularity and scalability that we can offer.
Right.
So, for example, we have tools and products available for business intelligence. So, let's say a company that wants to have in-depth analytics and do-it-yourself customizable dashboards, looking at factories from different parts of the world at the same time. This is a product of ITAC's that we can support here, because we oftentimes Cogiscan's connectivity solutions are the data source for these types of things.
Right.
But you don't need to have the complete ITAC MES suite for that product. And another very exciting product that we're seeing a lot of traction on is what we call IIoT Edge, which is an ITAC product. It's a artificial intelligence and machine learning platform that again relies on, say, our traditional connectivity solutions as a data source, and it can be used to basically help with a progression from, say, displaying and reacting to data based on something you see on a screen to actually predicting and prescribing what's going to happen down the road based on data models on top of artificial intelligence. So this piece can also be sold and deployed without the ITAC MES suite.
Right,
and so that really opens up a lot of doors. We were talking earlier about even small to mid-sized contract manufacturers who maybe have their own MES system, or even large ones that have their own MES system, and they may not be looking at replacing their MES system now, but everybody's looking at IoT now.
Absolutely.
And so we can provide solutions that enable them to use our best-in-class solutions for IoT without having to make them replace maybe legacy systems that they're very happy with.
Right. So that's really interesting. So on the Cogiscan side, I mean, you've been historically known for the track, trace and control connectivity systems, basically been able to use a hardware piece and a software component to join a dumb machine, for example, or a fairly dumb machine to CFX or an MES system.
Sure.
But you actually do a lot more than that. So tell us about some of the other things that you're offering from Cogiscan.
Yeah, I think we've promoted our connectivity platform a lot over the past few years, and it's a very important part of our product line now because ITAC is relying on it. So anytime ITAC needs connectivity to a machine, what they call SMT Edge is the Cogiscan piece built into the ITAC workbench. So that continues to become more and more important. Now with our new structure with ITAC. But some of the recent trends in the industry that we're seeing, for example, with supply chain challenges and material shortages that are due to a variety of global reasons, it's forcing people to really look more closely at their inventory, manage their materials more carefully, and that's part of the core tradition of what Cogiscan always did. And for example, guiding the operators and guiding the production staff to kit materials efficiently without having any sort of downtime on the line while you're waiting for a kit to be prepared, knowing what materials are available and where so that you can actually kit effectively and ensure that you're optimizing the setup of the line at the same time as you're picking the materials, for example, by kitting them in the sequence that the reels will later go on to the feeder slots on the machine, so it saves setup time for the operators.
Right.
And so this is something that we're seeing kind of it's always been a very important part of our product, but given what's happening in supply chains these days, we're seeing a real increased emphasis on that stuff.
Yeah.
And it couples very well with ITAC because ITAC has an advanced production scheduling module, or APS module, which is just a natural tie-in because now we can provide the scheduling system with all the information about what materials and what feeders are available, and that makes the APS system more capable of optimizing the production schedule for the factory floor.
Right. Now, I didn't realize you went into that much detail, but so you're really the key link between a lot of these storage systems and component counters and and the machines on the line essentially.
Yeah, that's a part of our traditional bread and butter, and we see a
But
lot of storage companies. They're doing very well,
Yeah.
and it's kind of tied to that same industry trend of everyone wants to manage their materials more carefully. So, more and more companies are investing in the storage towers. They're investing in the counting systems, the X-ray counters. So those are also just synergistic pieces. We don't develop those systems, but we connect to them and connect them to the physical SMT lines.
Right.
So we take systems that otherwise would not be talking to one another and get them all on the same page.
Exactly, and so that was what I was going to say. The attraction to these equipment vendors is that they're not having to sit and write lines of code for whatever machine configuration they're going to be working with. You've already done that, and you've got a drop-in system to handle that.
That's a very valid point, and that's one of the reasons we still have our equipment partnership program. Actually, one of the key reasons ITAC bought us is because they saw the value we bring to the equipment suppliers, and that's something that they're going to continue to encourage us to invest in. You mentioned CFX. We've helped many of the equipment vendors at this show deliver a CFX offering to market. And that's another a nice complement.
Yeah, that's
to,
interesting because
I mean,
a lot of these companies here, equipment suppliers, have professed an intention to adopt CFX, but quite a few of them haven't implemented it yet. But the one way they can do it is by coming to you, and you actually do that that interface and that implementation.
Yeah, and now that we've done it for several of them, I mean, we have a bit of a recipe in place, right? We understand the standard intimately, and we've been doing machine connectivity since our inception over 20 years ago. So for us to work with one of our existing partners or a new equipment partner and develop that CFX solution, it's really a baby step from our perspective. And of course, all of these equipment companies have their own software people, and they could do it on their own, but they kind of view it as a make versus buy study, right? They look at their internal resources and what features should their internal resources be focusing on. Maybe if I'm an AOI company, I want my internal software people focusing on something that's more specialized in AOI rather than an industry standard, and we can help them achieve the industry standard. So it comes down to cost and also lead time. Because we do this all the time, our ability to deliver a new interface to an equipment partner is relatively low.
Interesting. Yeah, that's an interesting facet as well. So definitely, we've packed a lot in there, Mitch. I mean, you must be a busy guy these days.
I am indeed, yeah, and I'm learning a lot too. I mean, especially with the business intelligence platform and the IoT edge, or the artificial intelligence stuff. I mean, this is something that I personally was not, had no background in. And so, fortunately at ITAC, we have a team of data scientists. I mean, we have PhD level people who are experts in this. So I love sitting in on meetings when we bring those people to our customers and talk about, what's possible. At first, I was maybe a little concerned that they would be a bit daunting to our customer base, right? Kind of have some PhD guy come in and talk to them about artificial intelligence. But our guys are really good at bringing it down to a pragmatic, practical perspective, and we offer our customers actually data science courses so that we can help them learn some of
what the capabilities are,
and also some of the theory behind what we're doing, so that it helps them later on become more self-sufficient later. And we have, a lot of people are talking about artificial intelligence, and I always like to ask the question like, okay, what have you done in a real factory? Give me an example that I can understand. And we have a use case library that we're building up based on actual customer deployments using the artificial intelligence. And one simple example, which I think is pretty cool, is for AOI machines. If you talk to any engineer in a factory, and what they want to do at AOI is they want to filter out the false calls as much as possible, because of course when you have false calls, you tie up time either on the line or at an offline station, having an operator manually go through and figure out what's a legitimate false call and what's not. And so they're always tweaking their programs to, okay, let's try to minimize false calls without having any escapes of real defects getting through. So with the AI engine that we have, we're capable of training an algorithm to learn what is a false call and what's not. Okay. And we have this installed in real customer settings where we've reduced the amount of time taken to filter out the false calls by the operator by about 60%. So it's 60% less manpower being wasted filtering out these false calls, and 60% less time filtering them out. And so this is something that we can now package as a recipe, and because Cogiscan can connect to any type of AOI machine, we can combine our connectivity with the IoT Edge product from ITAC and solve real-life problems immediately on a floor.
Wow, that's exciting.
Yeah,
and you can tell in your voice you're excited about it all as well. So
I'm having a good time, I have to admit it.
Sounds like it. Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, I'm really happy for you, Mitch, and I want to thank you for coming in and sharing some of it with us today.
Thanks, Trevor. It's always nice to see you.
Okay, thank you.
Cogiscan has been providing smart factory solutions for electronics manufacturers since 1999. We believe factory digitalization shouldn't be complicated. Due to our modular and flexible platform approach, no matter where you are on the road to digitalization, we have a solution for you.
Optimize your production process and reduce your costs with Anda Technology's one-man automatic coating line. PCBAs are loaded and unloaded in the same location using a convenient manual flip for coating or dispensing on both sides of the PCB assembly. The system reduces handling time, the number of pallets needed, and can reduce overall production time by as much as 40%. Call your local Anda Technologies rep today or visit the website.
So my next guests are from Rocka Solutions. I'm joined by Fabiola Nunes, to my left, or my right, sorry, should I say, and of course Ivan Roman. So thank you guys for coming in. This is the first time that we've actually spoken to you. You're actually an OEM manufacturer and a distributor. So tell us a little bit about Rocka Solutions.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Thanks for the invitations first. We are a Mexican company, 100%. Right now we are more than 50 persons in the company. We cover all Mexico. We have presence since Canada, United States, Mexico, and Latin America. And we are very happy to be here with you.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, and we, as you said, we are distributors. We have different companies like premium companies like Cestron or Indium, and we also are manufacturers from products like this one that we're going to talk a little bit more.
Okay.
Yeah.
So basically, you deal in consumables and in materials.
Yes.
So let's. Tell us a little bit about your background. Are you both? You have a chemistry background? Is that where you come from?
Okay. Yeah. Thanks, Trevor. Again, nice to meet you and being here with you. Also, very happy. Okay. We have some background in chemistry. Also, some background in engineering.
Okay.
Like 3-4 people in the company. We work in the industry for more than 15 years.
Right.
So if we combine that experience, we have like more than 65 years of experience from the companies. Right. So that helps us to understand the customer's needs.
Right.
So that makes some strength in the technical side. We can support our customers directly as the first line. So, and that's very, let's say, very fast reaction that we have also with the customers.
Right.
So we cover like engineering, we cover chemistry, we cover management.
Right.
So that's what basically we
do. So basically what you're saying, some of the key members of your team have all worked in contract manufacturers and gone through that experience many times and brought that experience into Rocka.
That's right. Yeah,
to work.
we are 5 persons, I guess, in the company,
Right.
and the first line. And
Right.
what we
So,
can, that's what
so you've got
we can
50
offer.
people in total. Where are your locations? Where are you?
Well,
Okay.
here in Mexico, we are in Querétaro, in Guadalajara, Ciudad de México, Reynosa, Monterrey, Chihuahua, Ciudad Juárez, and Tijuana. We have warehouse, we have salesmen, technical support. So we almost cover all the cities for our different customers.
Right. So is your headquarters in Querétaro?
Yes.
Yeah. And is that where you have a lab down there to do some of the basic failure analysis and this type of thing?
Yeah, we have a lab, full lab that is in Reynosa, where our customers can send you samples. We can validate different products. In the case that we don't have a specific capability required by the customer, we can use our principals like indium, lysestrum, and their lab cells.
Right. So pretty much you can cover the vast majority of issues that your customers come with. But if there's something that's really complicated, presumably you can send it up to Zestron in Manassas or Indium in New York for analysis.
Exactly. We always have the coverage from our principals.
Right. Okay. That's good.
Yep.
That's good. So, looking presumably working with Indium and Zestron, a big part of your customer base must be the automotive industry.
Well, we let's say partially. We have many customers from the electronic industry, but we also cover industrial industry. You know that side.
Okay.
Plastics. We cover the food industry because our products that's what they are, let's say, meant to. So we can cover different segments, different industries.
Right.
But yeah, electronics, we could say is like probably 60-70% of the total.
Right. But within the electronics segment, I'm saying is it a lot of the customers will be automotive customers? Or-
Mostly yes,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
automotive, yeah,
Okay.
OEMs,
Right.
most of them
Okay.
too.
So I noticed two things. I noticed you brought in a sample of an SMT stencil roll here, which you're going to show us, and I also noticed that you've won an award for it. So let's start off with talking about the product, the SMT stencil roll.
Okay.
Why did you develop it? How did you develop it? And just tell us more about it.
Sure. We could say that's our new baby. Maybe I would like to start with that one.
Okay.
That's our new baby. It's an award we received yesterday, actually,
Yes. Okay.
from the printing and accessories division or segment,
Okay.
and that refers to this stencil roll.
Right. Congratulations. So
Thank you.
So how did you develop the stencil roll?
Since
And
I told-
why? I
since
mean,
we
did
told-
you see there was a gap in the market? Did you see customers having issues with
Correct.
other stencil
We
rolls?
saw that, let's say, potential need with the customers. Since we have the background from the industry, from the process itself,
Yeah.
we understood what the customer needs in terms of printability, cleaning process, efficiency,
Yeah.
and even cost savings. So that's why we identified that let's say, opportunity to do that. So we started to investigate the different materials we could offer or we could develop. So we came to this solution. With this new material, the customers can save time, money, and effort. in the plant.
Okay.
It is lighter. It's a lighter material. It's a polypropylene-based material. So that this can also be used for saving some of the solvent they use in the process.
Right.
And the time required for the change of the material can be also reduced by the customer.
Okay.
So when we monetize all of that, when we count all of those, let's say, features, current customers or the implementations we have done already can be like 30-40% less than what
Really?
they currently are.
Wow.
Let's say
Well, that's a significant saving.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're manufacturing this 100% in Mexico here.
Right.
Is the plan it's an OEM product? It's your product. So presumably you're going to sell it more than just in Mexico. You're going to sell it outside of Mexico?
For sure. We are already qualifying this product in USA. Rocka exists in Mexican and American companies.
Okay.
So we are already evaluating this product in the USA too, and Latin America too.
In Latin America.
Yes.
Okay. Excellent.
Yeah, that's right. So that's the reason why we brought this sample together with the new baby, like I told you. Yes.
Okay. Great.
Yes.
Well, it's interesting to learn all the different things that you're doing. Are you looking to widen your chemistry portfolio, from what you're doing at the moment, or you?
Absolutely. I mean, the company has only 4 years of foundation.
Yeah.
Thanks to the customer, we have increased significantly. Let's say they have given us the chance to increase our portfolio. So they look for Rocka as the solver for their topics. So if there is a chance we can increase the solutions we have, for sure we are more than happy to do that.
Excellent.
So we are still working every day, listening to our customers, and the people we are in the company now are really, really, let's say, engaged,
enthusiastic.
Yes.
Well,
yeah, for sure.
At 4 years old,
I'm happy. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure you are.
Exactly. Yeah.
You got to make it through the first 5 years, then it gets easier.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
well, guys, I'm super excited for you, and I want to say congratulations on the award, and thank you for coming in and telling us about it today.
Thank you.
Okay, so that's it from Guadalajara this week. It's been a great show, and rumor has it that next year it's going to be even bigger. They're talking about doubling the floor space. So make sure and watch all of the interviews and funny bits as well from the show that we've recorded. You'll see them on globalsmt.net or, of course, on our YouTube channel. If you watch it on YouTube, we will have Spanish subtitles, so if you're watching it from Mexico, you'll get it in Spanish. So until we see you next time, thank you for watching, and we'll catch up at the next show.